Alarming news. Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a new anti-immigration bill for the state of Florida. What does it mean for you? Should you be scared? Or will you get deported and will life end as you know it for you inside the United States? Recently, I have been getting a lot of phone calls from my current clients, potential clients, and also from my followers on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok asking me should they be worried about this new anti-immigration bill in Florida and wanting to know how they should protect themselves from getting caught up in the sweep. For those of you who don't know, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed into law a new immigration bill that is essentially designed to make life unbelievable for undocumented immigrants inside the state of Florida. Now that it has passed, the bill is expected to take effect July 1st. Many see this bill as DeSantis' way of building support within his Republican base in anticipation of his bid for the presidential campaign. So this bill is as extreme as possible. He is doing his utmost best to try to beat out former President Trump's anti-immigration stances. So we are going to go over some of the most important provisions in this bill that you as an undocumented immigrant should be aware of. And second, we'll talk about how you should protect yourself and what you can expect. So here are some of the restrictions that are getting the most attention from the immigrant community. First of all, there will be an ID restriction. This law prevents counties and cities in Florida from issuing an identification card or document to anyone who cannot prove that they are legally present inside the U.S. And this law will make the use of IDs obtained in other states such as New York and Washington and New Jersey, where undocumented immigrants can go ahead and get an ID despite the fact that they don't have legal immigration status. It will make those IDs null and valid. Without a proper identification, an immigrant is essentially rendered unable to operate in modern society, unable to drive, unable to open a bank account, unable to do the normal things that most of us take for granted. Employment restrictions. This law makes it illegal for businesses to continue employing someone who is not legally present inside the United States and requires employers to use the E-Verify system to confirm the eligibility of new employees within 3 business days of hiring them. And if a business is caught employing undocumented immigrants, they can be fined up to $10,000 per violation and will be at risk of losing their business license. Some important details to note is that this does not apply to businesses employing fewer than 25 employees, and it does not apply to existing employees. Only new employees hired after July 1st. Travel restrictions. This bill originally had criminal penalties imposed for persons caught transporting undocumented immigrants within the Florida state lines. But now that crazy provision at least has been modified a little bit, and now the criminal penalties are imposed upon anyone transporting undocumented persons between the Florida state lines. Now the final version says that it is a 3rd-degree felony to transport anyone undocumented into the state of Florida. Healthcare restrictions. Once this law goes into effect on July 1st, hospitals that accept Medicaid will be required to confirm the immigration status of their patients and then submit a quarterly report to the government. This is obviously to discourage undocumented immigrants from seeking medical attention due to fears of possibly getting reported as a result of being in the hospital. However, it is illegal to share information about an individual when they seek healthcare, but the mere fact that a hospital will not be required to report this information will have a chilling effect on immigrants. Now, thousands of immigrants have already left the state of Florida, and there are various news reports showing fields lying empty inside the state of Florida that are not being worked on, and other construction jobs and other sorts of industries that rely heavily upon undocumented immigrant workforces that are now depleted. And from my own experience with my own clients, as well as from reports that we are seeing all over the news, currently undocumented persons living inside the state of Florida are shook with fear and are being really, really cautious and are very afraid of what will happen. So if you are an immigrant living inside the state of Florida, is there anything that you should do, and should you be worried, and how can you protect yourself? This law is not going to change anything for you right now. What this bill is trying to do is it is trying to stem and discourage immigrants from coming into the state of Florida and trying to impose other types of penalties in order to try to force people out, such as not issuing licenses, not recognizing licenses or state IDs from other places, finding workforces where immigrant labor is heavily used. These are meant to be deterrent measures that will disincentivize immigrants from considering Florida as a home state. If you're already in the state of Florida as an undocumented immigrant, if you have an immigration application already pending with USCIS, you are going to be in a little bit more of a protected status because you can show that you have something pending. And as somebody who might encounter ICE officials or other immigration officials, you can use this to show that you have something pending and that you are kind of in a period of authorized stay. There are many types of immigration applications where you can have applied for a VAWA or for a T visa, where you can actually get a license inside Florida with the simple receipt of your case or your prima facie determination. We have several VAWA clients and T visa clients who were successfully able to obtain a driver's license inside the state of Florida without even having to wait for their application to get approved or without even getting approved for a work permit. The most important thing when these sorts of laws get passed is this. I know it's easier said than done, but there's no point in living in fear. Find out what you're eligible for, get those immigration applications filed. It will give you some measure of protection and it will give you some measure of peace. Consider contacting a qualified and experienced and well-intentioned immigration lawyer to find out what your options are. If you have any questions or would like to share any additional information about how this bill is impacting your life, leave a comment below to this video. And if you would like a case evaluation with my office, call us at 212-248-7907. Even though I am based in New York, I work with immigrants all over the United States, and we have dozens of clients in Florida that we are helping today. I'm Moumita Rahman. If you have found this video helpful, I would appreciate you giving my channel a follow and for you to follow me anywhere you find me on social media. If this knowledge is valuable to you, please share it with your friends because I know that the fear is real. And if you don't understand what is behind this bill, I don't want you to make yourself sick with anxiety and worry. It is hard enough existing, especially in a crazy state like Florida. My name is Moumita Rahman. I'll see you next time.